Hey guys, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. I'm in Detroit for a little while on a layover, and a number of people have reached out to me over the past couple of days by email, messenger, Facebook, uh, asking how I'm doing, what's going on, what's it like working as a flight attendant in the time of a global pandemic. And are you afraid? How are you feeling? Anybody you know sick? So far, nobody I know is sick. There was vague rumor that one of our flight attendants was sick. I had not heard anything of that. Usually, at this point, we would have already heard something from our company. If any of us were sick, we definitely would have heard of it. Um, but so far, nobody that I know is sick. That's good. Um, I was not so anxious about COVID-19 when it first kind of came around because I remember when SARS was hitting the books and MERS, but no one I knew was affected by it, and it didn't really seem to affect my life really at all at that point, much unlike this COVID-19 virus, which seems to have just changed how everything happens in the entire world. Um, so I haven't been too worried. I wash my hands a lot. I douse myself in hand sanitizer. I happened to find two Bath and Body Works that were open and had stock on their hand sanitizer. So over the course of the past 2 weeks, I probably bought like 50 of those hand sanitizers. So I have one or two of them in every pocket of everything I wear. Um, Something I have been guilty of in the past, and you'll see it in videos. I have a little cough. I always have a little cough. I have one lung, my left lung, which has a lot of scar tissue from when I was injured back in 2007, and it's never been a real team player since. My right lung is really the breadwinner of the couple, and it does a majority of the work. Whenever I get sick, it is just debilitating. I'm out for weeks and weeks. But whenever I have this little cough, I'm always like, excuse me, right into my hand. It's a bad habit because it's not how you're supposed to cough, and you know how you're supposed to cough. When someone says, how are you taught to cough and sneeze? Right there in your elbow. So I've been really guilty of coughing into my hand in the past. So lately I've been really trying my best to sneeze and cough into my elbow. Um, so yeah, so I haven't been that nervous until lately. Now with the death toll rising everywhere, look at Italy. Look at what happened to Italy. And that could happen to the US. Um, so far so good with my airline. I have been watching the news and Facebook and emails from our union, and I'm hearing about such huge, drastic cuts in flying for most other of these larger international airlines. Of course, especially airlines like United and American that were so heavily invested in Europe and in China and the East. My heart goes out to all those flight attendants because I can't imagine what they're doing right now. I don't know what their airlines are doing for them. My hope is that they're taking care of their flight attendants to some degree. I'm praying that they do. So far with my airline, we have not seen any real cuts in flying so far, and that's as of today, which is March 16th. We'll see what's going to happen though. A rumor that someone said on the plane today is that Puerto Rico is closing up its borders, which I would totally understand. Um, I'm glad I got there last week. Um, and that something about the country going into a state of emergency and people thinking about cutting domestic travel. Now that makes me very anxious, makes me very nervous. Now, as an airline, we're very small and we focus mainly domestically in South America, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Well, the Caribbean is starting to catch. Apparently, in Jamaica, there's 7 or 8 cases already, and I don't know. Vegas, most of our flying is domestic. We don't do a lot of international. So my hope is that my flying isn't affected too much in Las Vegas. And when I say flying being affected, that translates immediately into money because we only get paid for the hours that we work. We don't fly. We don't get paid for hours that we're not in the air. And you know, I'm always telling you how little money I have, and I have enough money where I could handle this month and next month's rent. That's about it. So I'm very anxious about what's going to happen. Today, on the 12th, we usually bid for the next month's schedules. And so I was all ready to bid. But then we got an email from our union saying that the company agreed with the union. And I'll talk about the union in a moment and why I think they're so important. The union agreed that the company could push back bidding 4 days till the 16th. That's today, so that we could start bidding on the 16th, allowing crew scheduling and the company to adjust any flying for what is available and happening today in the world. So bidding was supposed to open today on the 16th, but I suspect some of the rumors I've heard about Puerto Rico and other places closing down might be true because the company wanted to push back bidding further. So, and the AFA, our union, disagreed with that and did not want to let them push it back. But then, after some talks, they agreed. So the bidding for April is now going to start on the 19th. I'm looking at my computer screen for the dates. So bidding will start on the 19th. It'll end, and bidding would be awarded on the 22nd. That's not a lot of time. Usually we have about a week to bid. Now we only have a couple of days. So they pushed bidding back another 3 days. And I think that's because a lot of changes have been made to where we can fly. So I suspect they're going to be cutting some of our flying. That just makes me very anxious. Again, in Vegas, we don't do a lot of international, so I'm praying that it won't really affect our domestic flights. Yesterday's flight from Vegas to Boston, a red eye, we had maybe 10 open seats. Today, from Myrtle to Detroit, we were scheduled to have 12 open seats, but we had like close to 30 open seats. But that means the plane was still relatively full. And most of our flights have been full. So I'm really praying that our flights aren't reduced, our flying isn't reduced, because if our flying is reduced and our schedules are reduced, that means we have less money, and I definitely need money, right? So that's what's going on. I was going to mention why a union is so important. I have to tell you, I would, after this experience of watching my union fight for our rights as flight attendants, I would never work for a company that didn't have a union. I would never work for a company that didn't have a union anymore. So one of the things that our union fought for, and I hope this is true for everybody else. I really do hope. But my airline has agreed with our union, begrudgingly, I'm sure, that if we were to get sick with the COVID-19 virus, if we were to be out sick because of the virus, that we would be pay protected for our trips. And that would be for the next 6 months. And this is if I'm reading the email right. I think I am. And if we were for some reason potentially exposed to the virus, if we were going to be quarantined, for example, for like the 2 weeks that you usually quarantine with this, that we would be paid protected for trips. Now I know that our union fought for this, and it's just one more reason. If you don't see a lot of action with the union, if they don't do a lot of big dramatic things, sometimes you think, gee, I give them $50 a month. Our union dues are $50 a month. I give them $50 a month. What the heck do they do? What's going on? This is what they're doing. Like, the union is here for us, much like health insurance is here for us. You pay for health insurance just in case you need it, and we pay for our union dues for the times that we need them. And it's times like this and the less dramatic times. You know, if I were to show up to the hotel today and they did not have a reservation for me, I would go to my union website. I'd write a ticket out with them. They would look into it with the company, and they'd find out that, oh, I didn't have a room when I checked in. Blink, cha-ching, Stephen gets 2 hours pay. So, you know, the union definitely is there when we need us. When we need them for certain things. But I was really impressed with the amount of work that they're doing to fight for our rights in times like this. But I should have coughed into my elbow. There's no one else here though. So that's what's going on at work. Tomorrow we have 3 legs to go back to Vegas. I'm back in Vegas by 3 or 3:30. I'm gonna get home, drop my bags, and then rush to the grocery store. So one of my other fears and one of my other anxieties is I have enough food for myself in my apartment for the next maybe 3 weeks. I really do have enough groceries for 2 or 3 weeks, no problem. But with the way that people attack supermarkets at times like this, I'm a little anxious around it, and more so for my cats. I have exactly 7 pounds. I have one 7-pound bag of cat food in reserve from what doesn't fit in their bowl before I leave for a trip. So I've got a 7-pound bag of their food, and they only really eat one dry food. It's a Purina One Tender Selects with chicken. That's what they eat in that turquoise bag. My local grocery store that I usually get it at doesn't sell it anymore, so I have to go to Walmart to buy it. So I'm gonna bus over to Walmart tomorrow night and see if I can't buy any cat food, because I'm very anxious that with the way that grocery stores have been swamped and attacked, that everything will be taken off the shelves out of fear. So I'm gonna do my part in that, because I am afraid that I won't have enough for my cats, and then I'll try and get other food for the stray cats that I feed outside. And Diana, I need some cans of food for her. So I'm crossing my fingers that the shelves aren't bare tomorrow. And if they are, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what to do. So I'm here in Detroit, trying really hard not to freak out, because, you know, if bids open up on the 19th, I'm sorry, this video is already longer than I want. I shouldn't touch my face. If bids open up on the 19th and we don't get our minimum, if we're not scheduled our minimum of 72 hours, I don't know what to do. I'll look forward to an email from our union. That's what I'll do. All right, so there's a little update. I really wish I had better news or more news to share with you, but a lot of you have reached out to ask how I'm doing, what's going on. Oh, you know, did I talk about the dab? Did I talk about the dab? I'll have to watch this video again. I'll edit this next part out if I haven't already mentioned the dab. But you know the dab, the dance, right? I don't know how to do the dab really well. I'm sorry. It wasn't my generation. But so we're on the plane today, and we're almost done boarding. We're just waiting for 1 or 2 more stragglers. And so what I did is I moved through the cabin. I'm flying position B this time. So I moved through the cabin maybe every 10 rows. And I'd say, all right, guys, hey guys, how are you? And all their heads would come up. And I'm like, who knows how to dab? And one person would raise their hand. And I'm like, all right, so everybody, dab, you do this. And they all knew what I was talking about then. I'm like, all right, so if y'all are gonna cough, if you're gonna cough or sneeze, I don't care with what reason. If you have allergies, if you have the flu, if you have this COVID-19, whatever. If you're gonna sneeze or cough, for the comfort of and safety of everyone on this plane, including myself, please cough into your elbow. All right, please. And the way I delivered it and said it, people smiled and laughed a little bit, which is good. That means they're listening. And then I would just move forward through the aircraft and do my little dab speech again. So I would say something like, do the dab, but watch that other hand because I don't want you to punch one of your fellow guests. That's not our type of airline anymore. So, maybe dab instead. I don't know. But that was one way I was trying to add a little lightness to this very dark time. But blah, blah, blah. This video is much longer than I intended it to be. I just wanted it to be a quick catch up. And compared to most of my videos, this is still a really short video. So if you are a flight attendant and you have been affected by having hours reduced, I just want to scratch my face. If you've been affected somehow by your hours being reduced or something, I would just be very curious. So if you're open to it, please leave a comment below. I'd be very curious as to what's going on. And if you're not a flight attendant, if you're just one of the regular populace, have you not traveled? Have you changed your travel plans or the ways that you plan on seeing the world or getting around? Have you changed your life at all in response to this virus? So leave a comment below. Let me know what's going on with you and how you're doing. And if, out of vague curiosity, if anyone has been sick or ill, on how they are. And there we go. All right. And lastly, before I let you go, much like over the holiday season where I asked you guys to do something nice for other people, at this time, in this time of fear and worry, let's try to be nice to each other once again and try to treat each other with patience, love, and tolerance. It's a difficult time out there, so let's all be nice to each other and treat each other like friends, okay? And that's it. I will talk to you guys later or when I find out any more information about what's going on. I might make a video about my bidding when it opens up again on the 19th. So until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Fly safe.